Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima and I'm here checking out Switch Galaxy Ultra. I've actually been kind of looking forward to this. I quite like Switch Galaxy on PlayStation Mobile, and seeing a native version for the Vita is quite the awesome thing indeed. But we'll have to just take a look and see if it's actually any good or not. Also, this music is really loud for some reason. This is louder than most Vita music I usually hear. I might have to turn it down a bit in the game options, but we'll get to that when we come to it, which is right now. So, we can only turn it on or off. That's a bit of a shame. You can also come have a look at the controls. One little thing I'd like to point out here is an absolutely tiny little nitpick, but if you're like me and rest your fingers on the left or right thumbsticks while you're playing, sometimes you might accidentally nudge the stick to the left or right and actually do a switch when you don't mean to, which is kind of annoying, and I wish I had an option to turn that off. But you do get 3 different control styles. You get L and R, you get the D-pad, and you get the left analog stick. You don't really need to worry about rebinding your controls. They should work fine for everybody. The game's story is told through these little comics, and the weird thing about these little comics is there's a loading gap in between every page, and you have to wait for the page to zoom in and scroll and all that, and all this text is bloody tiny. I don't know, it just seems like if there's anything you could do to screw up a comic reader on the Vita, they did it here. Because the combination of all this zooming and slowly moving through the pages makes it really, really hard to read. I ended up skipping half of this comic here because I just couldn't be bothered reading it all the way through. Annoyed the absolute living bejesus out of me. Really should fix that. I mean, come on, you've got 500 megs of RAM on the Vita and you can't give some of it to load every page and make it so you can zoom in and out like an actual comic reader? I guess not. You've also got leaderboards and online multiplayer. I haven't actually been able to test the online multiplayer because, well, there's nobody playing it. I'll see if I can get into a game later on, but, you know, that'd be true first impressions and not first impressions like I've played this game for about an hour at this point. We have leaderboards, but I imagine this is just for the survival mode, but yeah, this is for survival distance. Oh, but there are other leaderboards, so okay, we don't have a problem with that then. We also have the survival mode, which is pretty obvious, so I won't bother showing it off, but we'll just go to continue right here, and we'll jump right back into where I was in the story. This is about, what, 45-50 minutes in, so about an hour. I spent a couple of minutes playing around in survival mode. Alright, so here we are in the story mode. It's basically been just a straight line of levels, which has been, honestly, a little bit disappointing, because in Switch Galaxy on PlayStation Mobile, they had a few offshoot levels that you could go play. But we won't worry about that right now. So we're just going to move straight on to the next level. This is New Tandari. These names mean absolutely nothing. We'll just play a game before I show off all the upgrade systems and all that. It's nothing really that major. Loading times aren't terrible, but, you know, I hate loading times, so yeah. So we can buy barrier passes, which let us pass through specific barriers, but God, I really can't be bothered with that. And you can also go to upgrade here. Now, this doesn't really tell you what it actually does until you actually press it. Purchase more level information. God damn it. There is absolutely no point to purchasing level information because you can just play through and find out for yourself. Bit of a waste of money. A lot of this stuff in this game seems to be a waste of money at this point. But anyway, we are playing Switch Galaxy. The idea is that you are a ship confined to a specific amount of a specific plane. And you have to swap between these different layers here by using the left and right buttons, or the analog stick, or the L&R buttons, the shoulder buttons. And the idea is you have to race through these areas without taking too much damage. You can pick up these passes to pass through these walls. There's little gold things there, that's money. You also have to avoid people's ships. Big power-up that just completely blinds you. That's a massive pain in the ass to deal with. I hate that. I really do. It's annoying as hell. So, here's the idea behind Switch Galaxy. The idea behind Switch Galaxy on PlayStation Mobile was that in every level you had a time limit, and if you failed to meet that time limit, you couldn't get to the next stage. That was a huge part of the game for me, mainly because I really enjoyed the idea that the game actually tried to put some emphasis on speed. Now, in Switch Galaxy Ultra, they actually changed this with the campaign, which is really annoying, because the idea is that now you don't have to be fast or even remotely accurate to pass these levels. I mean, I'll explain how this whole new mechanic works when I get to it, but this level's actually kind of long. But they've taken away the fact that you need to actually be fast in order to pass the levels, and instead replaced it with this new mechanic that pops up halfway through a level, and it's really, really strange, to be perfectly honest with you. God damn it, I didn't see that. Forgot which barrier pass I had. Wasn't red. Was it green? Yes, it was green. Of course it was green. So yeah, I've lost all my speed. In a regular game of Switch Galaxy, I would be done. I would just restart the level right here, because that was just a massive screw up on my part. Oh, come on, really? I want to talk about this one mechanic that really annoys me, and the game won't actually let me show it off, but good lord. I must have picked a really bad level for this. Is that it coming? Yeah, that's it coming up there. You can see the purple portal just up there. Yep, so here's the purple portal. So when you reach the purple portal, it makes you do this. You swap to this completely unrelated perspective, flying around in a 2D space, trying to collect these bloody things. I can't remember what they're called. They start with T. And you need to collect these in order to progress in the campaign. I'm not kidding. You need to collect these, and you need to be bloody perfect, because it is so oversensitive that using the analog stick is just a recipe for frustration when it comes to that part of the game. It is so annoying. Unbelievably frustrating. Because you move so fast in that section. It's so annoying because you overcorrect yourself constantly, and it is so hard to get used to. And it pops up in the middle of bloody Switch Galaxy. It makes no sense. It has no context for being there. I don't even think they explain it in the story. They might explain it in the intro comic, but I'll be damned if I even bothered to watch that thing all the way through. That thing is intensely... It's just so weird. It pops up in the middle of bloody nowhere and only lasts for a few seconds. But if you miss like one or two of the things, you're not going to get a perfect on that level. And you can actually lose one or two of the things. Even if you get a perfect 10 in that section, you can lose whatever you just got by ramming into parts of the level. And it is so frustrating when you do, because it just screws you out of a goddamn perfect run. But anyway, let's take a look at the ship upgrade screen just while I'm here. So, on every ship you can upgrade boost, acceleration, dexterity, density, and shield. So you can increase how fast you go, how fast you gain speed, how fast you can swap lanes, and how much speed you lose from the Siphon ship and hitting an obstacle. Now, the weird thing is, in the original game, you... For some reason in this game they introduced an upgrade system where you have to buy new ships. And I have no idea why they did this, because in the original Switch Galaxy they made it so that you would go through on just one ship and you would upgrade you'll get the upgrades on one ship. And when you get the upgrades on one ship, it feels satisfying because you don't have to keep resetting your progress every bloody time. Because whenever you swap to a new ship, you don't have any upgrades on it anymore. So you have to buy the new upgrades for it. And that just frustrates me to no end, because it's like, why do I have to do this over and over again? It worked fine in the last game, where I didn't actually have to buy these ships, so why do I have to do it now? And I end up asking that question a lot in this game, and I don't know why. So some of these levels have these challenge modes here, where it just lasts as long as you can, or at least lasts on this very, very long level and don't hit anything once. It's basically the same as the survival mode, only it's not infinite. We'll have a go on it, then we'll do another level. But yeah, a lot of stuff in this game just feels like it was added on for the sake of being added on, instead of actually enhancing the Switch Galaxy experience. Which is a really, really weird thing to say, because Switch Galaxy on PlayStation Mobile actually did this really, really well. It made you feel like speed was important. You had to beat the levels in the time limit, you had one ship that you were constantly upgrading, and you just constantly upgrade your ship, you were constantly getting better and better and better. In this game, it takes away the emphasis from the speed, because you can run into as much shit as you like, and you'll at least pass a level. Sure, you need to get to the end with as many of those T things as you possibly can in order to get to the next one, but that comes in this weird-ass mechanic where the whole perspective changes for 30 seconds, and it's just not satisfying. It really isn't. It just feels like they added a lot of stuff on just so they could say they had a lot of stuff instead of focusing on what Switch Galaxy was actually about. That felt like a really, really hard platform to get through. That was annoying as hell. It feels like they added a lot of stuff just for the sake of adding a lot of stuff. I mean, if the ship upgrading wasn't there, that means they could have one constant ship, so you could have the difficulty curve slowly go higher and higher. And if they didn't have that T stuff, I can't remember what it's called, I've just yanked my headphone out of my ear. If they didn't have that T stuff, they could have it so that it would actually be based on speed, and the challenges would get slowly more difficult. I don't really know what they were thinking, to tell you the truth. It feels like a fair few steps backward from Switch Galaxy on PlayStation Mobile, where all these mechanics just get added on top for no reason whatsoever. The game does run perfectly fine. I mean, I can't remember Switch Galaxy on PlayStation Mobile having many problems, but Switch Galaxy Ultra does indeed run at 60 frames a second, and I will probably put this video in 60 frames a second for those fairly few computers that can watch it. But I just can't see myself recommending Switch Galaxy Ultra over the original Switch Galaxy, because it's just weird. Like, why did they go adding all this crap that really has no relevance to what made Switch Galaxy good in the first place, which was that great feeling of, goddammit, that great feeling of speed you got when you did a level completely perfectly with no failures whatsoever and you just skirted it under the time limit, and it felt so goddamn good whenever you managed to successfully beat a level. Then you've got Switch Galaxy Ultra, which is like, well, you're gonna have to swap into this weird 2D plane where it's going to be really, really hard to collect everything because the collision masks are weird and the perspective is weird and you move way, way too fast. And there's absolutely no way to turn this off. And then you have to upgrade this ship, but no, you've just unlocked another ship which has a couple more upgrade slots, and now you have to upgrade this one. And as I keep saying, they add complexity for the sake of complexity, and it really takes away from what Switch Galaxy Ultra really is and was. And I don't like it. I really don't. It's just inferior in pretty much every way, shape, and form to the original Switch Galaxy, at least in the single-player component. If you haven't played Switch Galaxy before, go get Switch Galaxy on PlayStation Mobile before you consider picking this one up, because bloody hell, this game costs £10. No, it wasn't £10.79. That's the PlayStation Plus price. I'm actually playing this on my United Kingdom account because this came out in the United Kingdom, and it's not out in America until next week, but it costs £10, which would be like 15 bucks in America bucks. And, I mean, God, I can't imagine buying it again, because I don't like it as is. It just, there's no emphasis on the speed. There's random mechanics like this here that just comes out of bloody nowhere. They added a completely needless ship upgrade system, which just seems like a waste of time. Making you having to reset your ship progress over and over again just because you got a new ship. And having to collect all this crap just so you can actually get to the next set of campaign levels is the most annoying thing imaginable. God damn it. Did not see that. At least it looks nice. Those comics that I showed you earlier are actually done by a series artist who worked on Wipeout, which is a fairly interesting qualification to have with your game, but go buy Switch Galaxy on PlayStation Mobile before you consider buying Ultra. Ultra just feels like something that... Switch Galaxy on PlayStation Mobile really wasn't weighed down by any miscellaneous mechanics compared to this, which just has all this weird shit just padding it out. It's just strange, really. I don't know why they decided to take away the emphasis on the speed, because the emphasis on the speed was the best, because it made it feel really satisfying when you finish the level. But here it's just not present, because you have to keep upgrading your ship and you have to get perfect on these completely oversensitive things. Oh look, an actual sub-level for once. But never mind. Let's go and see if anybody's playing the multiplayer. There's probably no one playing the multiplayer. If there isn't, I'll come back and do one more level. I don't even know how you'd make multiplayer work in this game. Would it be like a head-to-head thing? Would it be you take turns on one level and see who gets the highest distance? Or... It's a fairly good question. There's no games found? No games found. You know what, just out of curiosity, I hope there's something in the manual. There's probably nothing in the manual about it. Yep, nothing in the manual. Thanks, guys. So, I'll go play that sub-level and we'll call it a day. Sub-level. Amia. 110 Tandalium. So, I've been collecting like nearly every level that I've played I've collected like 9 Tantalium. And I'm just bumping up against the wall now, which is a bit weird. I thought I'd have a bit more time before it started introducing the ones that require a lot of Tandalium, but whatever. So, my final opinions on Switch Galaxy Ultra, because I'm definitely not going to be playing it again after this, because this is just distressingly overburdened. They added a lot of gameplay mechanics that make absolutely no sense in the context of Switch Galaxy Ultra. In the context of Switch Galaxy just in general. A game about speed that takes out the time limits and makes a major part of the campaign progress rely on an oversensitive, completely unrelated to the main part thing that breaks the flow of the game. And they expect me to pay a ton more for it compared to the original version on PlayStation Mobile. Considering the PlayStation Mobile's minimalistic take on everything was actually one of the most satisfying things about it, because you could race and know perfectly well that it wasn't really your fault. It was really your fault when you were failing miserably. Meanwhile, in this game, there's a bunch of crap that feels like it doesn't really need to be there, so it feels like the game's screwing you over more than it really should. Oh, the parts are stacked on top of each other. Okay. It's just depressing, really. They really could have done better with this. Get rid of the Tandaliums, they're worthless. Bring back the time limits, make it feel like that I really have to, you know, speed through the levels in order to actually get it done, because this is a game about racing, and there's actually no proper racing in it, which is the most depressing thing imaginable. God damn it. Also, it seems to be really hard to see things in the distance. I don't know if that's just me, but yeah. And get rid of the ship upgrading. I mean, geez, guys. It was fine with just one set of upgrades. Why'd you have to go and add 5? I don't understand why they had to go and do that. 5 that you have to repeat from the beginning. I can understand, like, upgrading your ship in tiers, so you couldn't upgrade your ship, like, beyond a specific point, but making us pay for the upgrades that we already bought on the ship beforehand just seems like needless lengthening of gameplay time. You could have done a lot better. The music isn't half bad, but it tends to start grating on you after a while. Thankfully, you do have the option to disable it. Also, strangely enough, there are audio cutscenes that play whenever you tend to hit too much stuff. Yeah, basically just to slag you off about being shit at the game, but they actually imply that you need to do shit quickly when really you don't. Which is the funniest thing. It's just, they say you need to get there as fast as possible. No, you don't. You just need to get there without actually hitting anything, which is completely against the point of what Switch Galaxy was in the first place. It was weird. It's weird. It's really weird. I don't understand why they decided to do this. But yeah, that was a look at Switch Galaxy Ultra. A disappointing follow-up to Switch Galaxy proper. How much does this cost? 130, Jesus, and that costs 110. But yeah, that was a look at Switch Galaxy Ultra. It's a disappointing follow-up, and I only recommend it to the fans who are clamoring for more Switch Galaxy Ultra. You'll get it here, who are clamoring for more Switch Galaxy in general. You'll get what you're looking for here, but it's just so padded out that I can't recommend it to the newbies. Go buy Switch Galaxy on PlayStation Mobile, because that game is glorious. This has been Blue Maxima, and I'll see you all next time.